no joke, one barbell in the middle of the room for the entire group to warm up on. Just one bar.
You don't have a coach? You don't have a friend? I didn't know any of these guys.
We're just sitting there and like...
People disappear and they don't come back.
And then it gets to the final heat and...
We all take our shirts off and Dave goes, put your shirts back on. It's pretty effing hot out there. And you're just like, what's about to happen?
Yeah.
A fire? Is there fire out there?
There were moments where it was just silent.
It's just silent.
Like dead silent. And
people disappeared. And you hear, oh, like several times.
And never came back. And then the first thing they say is keep your shirt on.
I don't know if it's legal to kill a fox.
I don't either.
And I think since it's killing your chickens, you can.
I think you can technically, but there was a lot of gray area.
It's attacking the homestead.
And it was, they were not ethical shots, if I can say it that way.
If it's a predator,
hit him 3 times
with a gun.
Yeah.
What caliber?
22 or 22.
Yeah, you need to get like a 22 250. That's what my dad uses for varmints.
Yeah,
and that's a good caliber.
And the like exploding rounds.
I watched my dad like shoot a squirrel one time, and it incinerated it.
Yeah. There's nothing left.
22 250. Didn't know it existed till today. Yeah. Thanks.
You should ask Dad to borrow it.
Yeah.
And just test it.
Do you remember the last time that I went to Alaska? Jordan was there.
Yeah, and you took.
He took his 9mm.
Was that what it was?
And sat down for lunch and just left it, just in the wilds of Alaska.
In the wilds of Alaska somewhere. Funny thing. Billings, when we were hunting in Colorado, fell in a bush. It was a big bush tree. Had the gun slung over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Got out of the bush, kept walking, and we get down the side of the mountain, and I'm like, "Where's your gun?" He's like, "Oh."
Like his long gun?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow.
And to credit, it was a Barrett Fieldcraft. I don't think they make it anymore. It's the lightest gun you've ever felt.
I took that to Alaska.
Yeah, it was
God, it's a nice rifle, man.
And dude, it is so light, he didn't even feel it come off and just walked around, left the gun. Luckily, it was just sitting in that bush when we went back to it. But
that is one of the coolest rifles I've ever had my hands on.
So light.
Austin Malleolo's here.
Austin's here.
We're here.
Put that phone away, engage.
Sorry.
Didn't you just do a Meat Eater podcast about getting off of technology?
That was 3 podcasts ago, so I've already forgotten.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Yeah, we'll detax for a second and plug in with our boy.
Plug in with our boy. Long. We were just talking about memories yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Of like the first time it would have been the first time all of us kind of met.
Yeah, 100%.
2000.
My first contact with you was I might have been in touch with Austin through seminars and stuff around that time.
Because you weren't seminar staff that year.
Not before 2010.
It was 2010.
Right. My first one with you was when you won the sectional, and I had to do like an athlete profile for the games website.
Yeah.
So it was a quick question and answer kind of thing.
Was it an email or a call?
Yeah, it was an email. Okay. Yeah. But man, I think
it was
maybe
my Tennessee Tech email probably too, which is kind of crazy to think about. Yeah.
I wish I still had access to that. It was an old Hotmail account. And you just let it sit for too long, then it's just lost to the winds.
Would have been after the was it after sectionals or after the Dirty South regional?
No, I think it's before the regional. It was like, holy cow, this kid came out and beat everybody up. And that was at the time when I was doing all the things on the games website.
Man, that old games website.
It was the bomb, man.
Cool.
Those are the golden years of Tony Budding, where it was like overdo it, but people loved it.
It was great.
I still have the 2008 and 2009 print programs from the CrossFit Games.
Oh, dude, that's a relic.
So I bought I bought them because when I started CrossFit, I was like, well, I want to compete. So you go on and I bought Every Second Counts.
Yep, I
on
had
DVD.
that one too. Yep.
And then they were like, you had a program, and I was like, well, and they had athlete profiles.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't know their numbers.
So I knew their numbers, and I just went through and highlighted like the best times, because they had their it was like their bios, Fran and Filthy 50 and 5Ks, and I highlighted them.
So good.
And I just remember like in the Northeast, right, and it was like Hobart was the big guy in the Northeast,
and Rob Orlando,
Who
else would have been up there?
Gosh,
in 08.
Back then, I gotta I don't even know.
Ben was farther down, right? Ben was at Mid-Atlantic probably then.
Yeah. Ben was Mid-Atlantic. Yeah, and he was like 17.
Yeah, he was 6.
Right? Yeah, 5 years old.
So yeah, it would have been Hobart. I'm thinking back to my time too of watching that, because we probably started around the same time.
That's right.
When did you start?
Like 2009.
Yeah, but
like
do you remember? I remember specifically. Well, I went to my level 1 in June. I want to say like June 8th or 9th in Charlotte. I watched Spencer Hendel. I didn't even know you could compete before this. Spencer Hendel came in at lunch.
That's right.
It would have been Pat Sherwood would have been Flowmaster. Mike G was there. Beth.
Giardina, yeah.
Beth was there.
Yeah. Probably Andy.
Andy Hendel was there. And I just remember, they're throwing down at lunch. Well, Spencer comes in, giant tattoo on his back. You're like,
and he was
huge.
Back then the biggest CrossFitter.
And dude, you're just like, that's it. And I'm like, who's that? And they're like, oh, he's competing in the CrossFit Games. What's that? Like before then, I didn't even know you could do that. And I remember when Darren moved down, driving, like we were still like, we'd do a CrossFit workout and then we'd just pump sesh, right? And I'm like, I remember driving a stake in the ground July 1st. And I'm like, we're only going to do CrossFit for a month. And if we get fat, we'll stop. We'll start doing the pump sesh stuff again, or we're just going to stick here, right? And so we do one workout a day. The first one we ever did in Dad's barn, 10 rounds, 10 pull-ups, kipping, and 10 push-ups. Still just a pump sesh.
I mean, great sesh.
Great sesh.
Timeless.
Not at any point was the, arms not locked out at ever on the pull-ups, until one day we were like, hey, maybe we should probably get full depth. But I just remember that. So July 1st was my
wow.
I love
2009. That. And we had like I wish I could find that.
I thought I felt something on that day.
Every
vibration
single workout,
went across the world.
Every single workout we wrote on like a piece of graph paper.
I have my binder of when I started CrossFit because I was a meathead, right? Just, pump sesh, all that stuff. And when I go back and look at it, I remember, it would be like, bis and tries, back and legs, and then it would be like filthy 50, right? Like, and my first workout ever was Fran.
Yep.
Because someone's like, you got to do this workout. It's called Fran. And I'm sure none of the reps counted. It was in a Globo gym. And, with metal plates in a power rack, right? Doing pull-ups, right?
White power rack.
White power rack, right? And the skinny little pull-up bar and just keeled over, dead. It was, and, I think I did it like in a relatively fast time, like 5 minutes, but nothing counted, right? Because I'm sure it was all awful reps. I was just buckled. And I was like, okay, because I was like 95 pounds, do that in one arm for shoulder press, like, meathead, and then I was like, all right, well, maybe I'm not strong. Maybe I'm not good at this stuff. So then I just started sprinkling it in. I did Fight Gone Bad, and I did wall balls, but I just
press.
I just threw the ball at the wall in front of me.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, it's a wall ball. And I just literally, I was like, why do these guys suck? Like, I'm getting all of these reps.
I'm so fit.
I was like, I just got 100 reps in a minute. Like, my wall ball score is better than their whole score. Did the whole thing wrong. But yeah.
I remember doing Karen the first time and didn't know you had to break below parallel. I just thought you had to hit a 10-foot target.
Yeah.
And so we did high rocks wall balls, just literally just a push press.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 minutes and something. I'm like, pfft,
it's like, who are these chumps? Yeah.
Oh man.
15 years ago.
Those were the days. Yeah. We did Murph the first time and I forgot to recheck the workout. We did 300 sit-ups instead of squats.
Yeah.
Same.
Details.
Same. Actually pretty difficult if you're wearing a vest.
Yeah, no vest. We didn't have a vest.
I mean, 300 sit-ups will light you up.
The first,
no doubt.
The first bit of stuff we had, Dad, we hung a pull-up bar in the back of the barn. Not the current pull-up bar back there. It was a smaller one. We had that. We had 2 stall mats. We bought, one of my buddies had a barbell, but it had the screw ins. You had to you had an Allen screw.
Those are great.
And so mid grace, you'd have to have somebody on screw detail that they would have to, screw it in at 10 reps because it would just start backing itself out and then the whole collar would fall off.
That's right.
I just remember these days too, like we'd come up with a workout and one by one we would do the workout. We hadn't figure out how to make sure everybody was moving at the same time. We're so early into it. We bought a 53 or a 1.5 pood. We thought it was the coolest thing ever to say pood.
That's right.
A 2 pood kettlebell. And then I had a set of dumbbells. They were off-brand. This was before Amazon. I don't remember how I got these dumbbells that were 10 to 50s. They were like the metal, you could crank them to different.
Oh yeah,
man. Those were the days. Back then, you're just getting it done, right?
100%.
Now I'm like, if the barbell's not a rogue, even today, Me and Angelo are doing a workout, and we're getting ready for BCS, and we're doing 10 clean and jerks at 115, 100 double unders, 20 cal echo bike, 1-to-1. He pulls out this brand new Rogue Ohio bar, Cerakote, says Mayhem athlete, whatever on it. I grab it, and I'm like, it's just a little slick. So I walk over and grab the stainless steel. Like I'm like such a snob at this point.
Fan placement.
Yeah, fan was perfect. You know, like I feel like I've earned that right. But still, you know, like back then you're like, who cares? Just get it in, get it. I remember one of the first workouts me and Darren did, thrusters with 95 and run around his pond. Could have been a 200, could have been a 400, might be, you know, whatever, but it didn't matter. 3 rounds for time.
Yep.
We did 3 bars of death. What was
Linda.
It? Linda.
Yeah.
With a curl bar for the deadlifts.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Well, that is, how do you do that?
I don't know. I don't know how we did it.
We got to film that.
It was awesome in Darren's basement, you know, like it was so good.
This won't shock either of you, considering like how you chose to eventually exhibit your athleticism and how I did. But I had the opposite experience where my first was Angie. So 100. Yep, 100. And we're in a Globo gym, and me and my brother are doing it, and we're doing it super slow. You know, it's like coming from a bodybuilding world. I'm like, these guys are liars. Like, this is impossible. That's clearly not possible. And I spent probably a summer trying to like zero understanding of the intensity of it. And it wasn't until after I was in Alaska with homemade equipment and stuff. So same-ish. But then I came down and found the first physical affiliate that I ever saw. And I walked in on the first workout, like probably rhabdo-ish, you know, when you get like the butt arm and you can't straighten your arm from like ring push-ups, I think it was. It was pull-ups and ring push-ups. And watching people just get after it. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Faster.
This is the difference.
Yeah.
Constantly varied functional movements.
The high intensity
At a high
part.
intensity.
Yeah. Never read the definition, you know, just went to the website.
No, then you had the journal articles coming out daily.
Right.
That's right.
Man, such a like, you know, I have an exercise science background. You have a degree as well.
Exercise science, yeah.
And I mean, I knew all this stuff, but I never like combined it. And that was the beauty of it is, you know, there is magic to it because it basically everything that worked, we're like, hey, let's just put it all into one. And you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, it was just so cool. And then going to the level 1 back then, I think I just either was about to finish up my degree or had finished up my degree. And I learned, you know, the science of it and all that was a breeze because that's what I did for 4 years. But the practical application, I think, was the like eye opener. You know, we didn't do any of that. We didn't teach a squat.
Yeah.
We didn't teach a press.
None.
And so that I think was the magic of the L1 at the time. It still is, you know, it's like the just emphasis on coaching. Yeah, the science is awesome, but you can get nerdy about that.
And in those days, the red shirts, or probably back then it was like black and blue shirts, was
there was
maybe
that was my favorite era, was the black shirts with the blue letters.
Maybe that I think
or
it was
the
actually.
Adidas with the 3 stripes on the shoulder.
No, that came later.
Okay. Sherwood had the white with the white shirt with the Adidas down.
I got a funny story about that one actually. But in those days, like, you know, I love that I was around before the CrossFit Games existed, right? And the trainers were the superstars.
Yeah.
And everybody was aspiring to be that. And it was like, holy shit, the way that this guy can teach, the way this guy can, you know, articulate what he's trying to say was mind blowing.
My diet for probably 8 years was built off of Pat Sherwood's block lecture. He had a blind meal, carbs, protein, fat, and it was like, you know, heavily skewered carbohydrate. Obviously, I'll tell you in a second why, and whatever. And he's like healthy with question mark, and then he had like a pretty balanced, and then, you know, unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then he like revealed what they were, and it was like oatmeal with a banana and orange juice.
The 2 meals side by side, right?
Yeah.
And the other one was a McDonald's double cheeseburger. And the unhealthy, but the blocks were correct.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I'm in.
proves it.
Yeah.
You know, so me and Darren ate, you know, double cheeseburgers all the time.
Lifelong Chick-fil-A official since then.
So we can blame Pat for
100% Pat's fault.
The misguided, use of CrossFit.
For sure.
So with that seminar shirt, there was the orange ones. Remember the orange ones?
Yes. Yeah.
At one point I purged and I took a bunch of stuff to Goodwill, and that was in there. And I swear to you, I was driving around Cookeville a year after I moved here.
Homeless?
Yeah. I saw this woman walking around, not having her best day. And she's rocking the CrossFit L1 orange.
Oh, I hope you took a picture and be like this
orange seminar shirt. And then I was
fitness.
like, okay, seminar shirts are off limits, and I'm gonna go ahead and if I'm not using them, they can go somewhere else.
Put them in a box
somewhere. Next thing you know, these people they're doing seminars on the corner.
Yeah, probably not the best advertisement.
And then I remember, probably 2 months after that, because the games were happening right around the time we started, when they started putting out on the journal the separate, like each individual event, I guess Sebon probably like packaged each event from the games. You're like, whoa, like maybe I'll do some. I remember we did the chipper, right? The final chipper from that year in 2009. And, a lot of the movements nobody had done, and our times were pretty comparable. And I'm like, that was the first time that I was like, maybe, and I think that's kind of when it lit the fire at that point. We did a bunch of, like, I always say that, and it's still kind of this way at that time, like, the first iteration of Mayhem, before we could actually call ourselves CrossFit, was just a frat house, right? Yeah. We just got super fit, and Buddy would walk in and be like, I'm like, $100 a month. They're like, I can't afford that. How about 20? And you're like, yeah, sure, just come on,
right. And we actually just good. Where was that?
It was
Dad's barn?
No, so we moved out of Dad's barn. A family friend of ours owned a gymnastics and cheerleading studio, and they had this little 400 square foot shed it was a loading dock.
Yeah. And
it was 400 square feet. And we took out a $7,000 loan, 2 GHDs, 2 bars, 2 like those old rickety gray racks. Dad made us a pull-up bar, wall ball targets on there, bought some med balls, 2 rowers. One of those are still both in existence. One just got returned to Mayhem. So it was at the barn here and, just getting beat up. So Kevin, shout out Kevin, cleaning it up for us. And I'm trying to think of what else we would have bought. Bunch of plates, obviously.
I love that you bought 2 GHDs.
Yeah, got to have GHDs, right?
I love that. That's right.
We had the $7,000 note that we could barely make the payments on. Darren would, just sleep there all day while I was going to class, and, somebody would show up and he'd coach him through something. He'd go back and, doing whatever. But man.
This was at the old strip mall, like by the paintball
this
place?
Was over off Chocolate Drive, kind of by the high school. And then we moved around the corner, and we flipped the tire 1.5 miles to the new spot when we switched over. Mm-hmm. Got cops called on us. They're like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, flipping this tire. And he's like, all right, cool. We should have called. I'm like, okay.
That tire's stolen.
He's like, yeah, that's what he said. I'm like, if it was stolen, we'd be rolling it. And he was like, yeah, good point.
Yeah. Like, why aren't you rolling it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. First question.
It's that tire that's out here, actually. We flipped that 1.5 miles.
Man, there you go.
Yeah, you remember how you would evangelize back then? Like, you probably tried to sell them a membership. You're like, bro, you should come in and do it too. You flip it.
But like, even when we evangelize, you're like, you come in and you're like, 7 minutes, 7 wall balls, 7 burpees. Yeah, that's going to hook people to do CrossFit.
That's right. Well, I mean, gosh, or just like, they come in and back then the last thing you wanted them to do was say CrossFit was easy.
Yeah.
Like that was failure if they said it was easy, right? So you come like, all right, we'll just do this. You know what? We're just going to push a sled and make you do burpees. And next thing you know, they're throwing up.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like, gotcha.
They're laying down like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah. Well, it's like with Trent yesterday. So Trent Ellis came in.
I saw his post today. It was funny.
He said he's done CrossFit. He's not former Marine. He's a Marine, and not active duty Marine. And so, I'm talking him through the workout. I'm like, hey, we're going to run 200. We're going to carry these sandbags, farmer. We did 200 meter run, 100-foot sandbag carry, 25 push-up, 100-foot sandbag farmer carry, 200 meter run. You're going to do that 1-to-1 with a partner. I'm like, hey, let's do 150 meters for you on the run. Let's go lighter on the sandbag and you do 15 push-ups, whatever. He's like, no, I can't do that. I can't do lighter. That's like challenging my manhood, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but I don't want to hurt you. Like, cause previous, you're like, oh, I want to F them up.
I've seen this movie before.
I want to, and it's the switch in 15 years is like, all right, we want to give them a good dose of intensity, a good dose of the movements, but we don't want them to be like incapacitated. But back then it was like, let's hurt them.
It was
not physically like,
it's like, we want you blue-lipped, frothy mouthed, questioning life, but just, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We smash you. We're not, this soft program.
Yeah.
And obviously you can, it got a bunch of early adopters, right? And I think if you were able to just find a gym, like physical locations it was like, where in the world is Carmen San Diego or a CrossFit gym? Yeah. And you'd show up and it's not like your traditional gym, right? It's, a little rougher by design. And you walk in there, that type of person probably wanted that. They were like, okay.
Sadistic,
throw it at me.
Well, even sorry, go ahead.
No, and obviously now, fortunately, I would say we've gotten most of those early adopters, right? They're, many of them are owners and coaches, but, so now we have to say, okay, well, we'd like for you to come back on day 2.
Yeah. We got to make a business out of this.
Yeah.
Well, and they, it's probably maybe it was either 9 or 10 when New York Times thought they were doing a hit piece, and it was the Get Fit or Die Trying. And it was an article about rhabdomyolysis.
Yeah.
And it had the opposite effect, right? Because that crowd read it and they were like, oh, I'll give it a shot.
I'm in.
Like,
I'll beat rhabdo.
This could kill me. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, but when I started, that was like, it was almost like a badge of honor. Like, it's dumb as it is. It was like, yeah. Like when you're sore, that means something good happened, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Maybe it makes sense to pause now and take for granted like how spirited this conversation is, whatnot. Fast forward and say that it's altered the course of all of our lives, right? In 100%. Different ways professionally. But I think, you posted something the other day, and it's a big announcement in your life and for the community and whatever. And I'd love to hear you. We'll just leave it open-ended, but maybe obviously we'll come full circle and keep celebrating like the history that we have together. But maybe talk a little bit about that post and how impactful and meaningful this kind of time of life is for you.
Yeah, no, I think, gosh, like we said, CrossFit has been my life, and for it almost feels like all of our lives. And it's funny when people say like, I'm pretty one-dimensional when it comes to life, and CrossFit as being that dimension.
That's all I'm good at.
Yeah. And, so obviously I've, moved on from CrossFit, working at CrossFit, and, from competing at the CrossFit Games to, working there in different capacities across 15 years.
All capacities, actually, seminar staff, affiliate owner, worked at Reebok, for Reebok, but also working for CrossFit.
That's right.
And then within CrossFit HQ. So
yeah. I mean, it's when you think about it that way, where obviously I spent 10 years on the road doing seminars. I did over 400 seminars, and traveled around the world doing that. Along that line, opened and ran Reebok CrossFit One, and sort of that's that moment in time. I think that's where we spent so much time together. We traveled the world together, built that out, opened up a handful of gyms in the greater Boston area, affiliates, and when I think back about all of that, I think the biggest thing is, and I know Rich and I have talked about this a lot, and it's just the strength of the community. It's my friends, my family, everything is around that. And I think that's something where that's why making this decision that I had to move on was really challenging emotionally, psychologically. I mean, it's a lot of internal dialogue, a lot of talking to friends and family about it, just because it's like anything. It's when you're close to something, you're afraid, well, does change make it worse? Mm-hmm. Right. And that's usually where your head goes versus, I got a mentor of mine gave me a piece of advice that is really helped me. And he actually gave me a while ago. And he said, you've made an unbelievable impact on CrossFit. And he said that, and he said, but what you don't know is that could you make an even greater impact from a different angle or different perspective from the outside? And that was something that like gave me the goosebumps in the moment, because I'd never thought of it that way. And that actually helped me emotionally just get through of like, hey, like pulling that back is, it's not necessarily an end, it's a continuation. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And perspective, and we all can like different angles in life will take you in different ways. And that's how I view sort of, when I posted, I'm moving on from CrossFit, is it's more like a thank you, and almost more so I'm excited to make an even greater impact and have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah. And when you're so deeply rooted in it, I think it's also what's reinvigorating. Of course, I know what you're doing, what you're up to. But it also wasn't like deuces, I'm out, I'm going to go make widgets, or I'm going to go work at some random corporate job. Like obviously you want to remain in the space and continue to like, make a huge impact. And you phrased it, we were talking yesterday, the day before, and I forget exactly what you said, but effectively like you've got this massive base of experience and knowledge and practical experience of working on, like Rich said, all areas of the business, all areas of the community, that's such a powerful weapon in a good way that you get to kind of decide where you want to aim and refocus it.
Yeah.
Mountain Ops has combined my two biggest passions, fitness and the outdoors, as well as sourcing quality ingredients. Mountain Ops supplements has helped me get the most out of my training sessions in and out of the gym. If you want to start taking your results seriously, I've put together a bundle of Mountain Ops products. New and returning customers save 20% on their purchase when you visit mountainops.com and use the code Froning. That's MTNOPS.com, code FRONING. When it comes to your health, some of the most important factors are the ones that you can't see in the mirror. Bloke specializes in men's health, helping you identify and fix the things that might be holding you back from optimizing your health. So regular blood testing is critical for staying proactive. Luckily for you, our friends at Blokes are here to make things easier than ever. Blokes doesn't give results with no solutions. They offer personalized solutions that fit your life, and they make the whole process simple and accessible. I get my blood labs taken at CrossFit Mayhem or in the comfort of my own home. If you're serious about taking control of your total health, not just your workouts, head over to blokes.co and take the first step. Use the code FRONINGPOD, all one word, to enjoy 50% off of all your labs. When it comes to training flooring, durability is the most important factor. With Regapol's established 65-year history, the decision for our studio flooring was simple. Made from recycled tires, Regapol floors are indestructible, durable, and easy to install, and has less smell than other rubber flooring products on the market. To purchase, go to roguefitness.com and search Regupol. That's spelled REGUPOL. Get strong, grow durable, and unlock your potential on Regapol rubber flooring. Recover faster, breathe easier, and increase your endurance with Airwave's scientifically proven performance mouthpiece. If high-intensity or interval-style training is your sport, try their patented endurance mouthpiece. I opted for the Mayhem 2-pack with one of each. For podcast listeners only, save 15% of your purchase at airwave.com/Froning. That's airwave.com/Froning. Yeah, I mean, I'll speak to, for years I've tried to get him to come over to the dark side, we've been great friends, man, since what year? Probably 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Even when we were competitors, we were super close, obviously on the floor, not as close ever. You want your friends to do well, but you want them to get second.
That's right.
And then, man, we've just kind of stayed in touch. Our wives get along really well. They're almost the same person. It's shocking at how much it's
petrifying. Yep.
It's actually really scary. And so, we've always just stayed in touch. I've bounced ideas off of him. And, I think we kind of, with what we were doing with Mayhem, started out with individual stuff, right? And that took off, and that was kind of our DNA, right? And in the process, we had Darren, who was running the gym, and when he moved back to Michigan, we started offering the online programming, and it grew underneath Lockhart and the individual side. And so we've come to a point where it's like, hey, our affiliates that are doing our programming, we want to give them some more and give them some more oversight and pull them away from what Lockhart is doing. And Darren is incredible, one of the best people I've ever seen at meeting people where they're at, coaching, all of those things. Christy's incredible. But Austin has that management style and is done it at all levels, right? And so we were like, hey, let's pull the affiliate side of what we're doing and, the programming, and let's offer more. Let's give our gyms more. And so that's, I poached Austin in that time, and I'm like, hey, finally, you just keep cutting, and eventually, it'll break. And so that's why Austin's here, is to take charge of that and head that up and be a part of that.
Do you feel, is a different way to do you feel like your work was done, or like you reached the natural conclusion?
Yeah. God, I think the short answer is yes. And what I mean by that is it wasn't done. It was just the ability to continue to make an impact at the level that I would like to, and also in a different way. And what I mean by that is, having the ability, sort of, this entrepreneurial ability to grow and be quick. And also if there's one thing that I've learned over the last, not only 5 years, but 15 years with our community is, being able to be flexible and listen and move quickly is really important. And there are pros and cons with being really big, and also within different confines of what you can and can't do. And as I, kind of went through this process, a big question I asked myself is, well, what do I want to do? And it always came back to when am I Austin the most energized. When I can actually make an impact, a tangible impact. That's why I love doing seminars. You know, where when you're in front of someone and you're lecturing, you're coaching, and you see that moment click, right? It gives you the goosebumps to think about it, and you realize that something happened there. And one of the most humbling moments was when I made that post about a week ago, and I saw these people just post, just saying thank you and saying that, you know, you gave me my level 1, 10 years ago, and like, now they're gym owners, and they're saying these things, and and they're equating that moment at the level 1, that moment of inflection for them. And that is the greatest responsibility I think that we can have in the space and pulling it forward to our affiliates and our gyms, where that ability to have that exponential reach. Because if you can help a gym and a gym owner and their coaches, well, they have hundreds of people that they can impact. And that's something that's always been important to me, is how do we increase the impact? Mm-hmm. And I really, and with what Mayhem has built and what Rich has built here, is that impact is exponential. And that's something where, and I think that it can be very symbiotic with what everyone else is doing in the space, but also deliver something that people really want and our owners really want. And having that ability to really grow, like I remember building gyms, and gosh, like back even in the online programming days, like the ability to impact, I still talk to people like just how you can impact the staff and then the members and then the potential members. That trickle down is something that it reminds me of those early days when you have someone squat below parallel for the first time and it blew their mind. Mm-hmm. They'd come up and because like, I've done this before, and they do 5 air squats and they're like,
that's different.
I've never felt this way before. And they come in the next day and they're like, I'm sore from just doing squats. Do
you remember when level 1 was Tabata air squats at lunch?
Tabata
to bottom that afternoon?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
What?
Oh man. I mean, there was a time where the level 1s were meant
to crush you.
Just like, to crush you. Like to the point where if you were to count how many times you went below parallel across like 2 days,
trash.
It was like, 500.
Trash.
Yeah. Just great. You'd hobble out of there. Like you'd kind of scoop them up.
It felt so awesome. Yeah, you're like, I did something.
Yeah.
I did something.
I can't walk and I love it.
Until people started flying off the pull-up bars. That was it.
It was a different era, but like my
wrap the thumb.
You can appreciate this.
Like that's gonna help.
That's gonna do it.
For my internships, all 3 internships for seminars, my flow master was Andy Stumpf. Oof. And you can imagine he took a little leeway with the rules. Or at that time, I don't know. It was the accepted things that they did. Yeah. But we would do the Tabata squats, and for whatever reason, man, they're homies now, but he had it out for Kalipa. And there were multiple times where I've probably told you this before, but he would explain that we were doing Tabata squats at lunch, and then he would brief, we're going to do bottom to bottom Tabata squats. And then he would brief that Jason Kalipa was going to do 50-pound thrusters in each hand, bottom to bottom, in the middle of a massive circle, as the rabbit to chase. And to Kalipa's credit, it probably made him better.
50-pound thrusters?
He had 50 in each hand. He was doing thrusters while we were all doing Tabata squats, or I guess I wasn't. But
and he would stay at the bottom with us?
Oh yeah, and 60 or 100 people, in a big circle around him, that's it. Just watching him.
So that's the origin story of Jason. Yeah.
And I love everything you're saying, and I just I think we are all of an earlier generation of CrossFit, right? The original one, for lack of a better term, and so I think sometimes. The new generation or so on don't understand the passion is real, right? Like it almost sounds like a commercial, but it's true, man. Like lived it, loved it.
Still here.
It's still here,
yeah.
But even what you're saying, like the joy you get out of just the delivery one-on-one and then the ability to expand it, which it took a long time for me to make that conceptual leap, especially with media, where I was like, nah, man, like I miss seminars. I want to be like in front of people. Yeah.
Right. I think we get stuck at times where people are like, well, this is how we used to do it. And I'm like, no. And you said it at the level 1s and at the level 1, Greg would say, if somebody has something good,
that's right. Why
would we not intake that? And we have learned through 15 years what works,
Right. Or I guess what I'm trying to say is yes.
I'm not saying, that wasn't hey, you're wrong. That was just like something passion, we talked about the other day that I feel like needs to be brought up. 100%. It's like, we can evolve and it should,
100%. But the core of it, the passion for making people better will always be like
that's right.
The fire.
Well, and I actually think, and that's the fuel, right? And because the passion is there, and how do you continue that, to your point of, and I think this is one of the most important aspects, and actually one of the things I'm most excited about Mayhem and being here with Mayhem is that if you think back to Every Second Counts and that video of when Greg was being interviewed, and this is one of the most impactful quotes that I've ever heard. And he said, it was at the CrossFit Games, he was, the original, when it was, people were there, and he said, if someone comes here and they tell us at their gym, every one of their athletes have muscle ups. Well, I want to then go to that gym and learn from them to say, what are you doing to get that? What are you doing to get such results? Because we're not doing that. We want to learn. And that black box concept of thinking is that we actually don't really care about what happens in the middle. In fact, we actually don't even care what the input is. We want to know what the input is because we want to know what happens with the output. And if the output is better, we're going to do whatever that input is. And I think one of the greatest contributions to fitness is results driven. We think about work capacity across broad time and modal domains throughout your lifetime is health. We don't, variance, functionality, intensity. Yes, that is absolutely the stimulus, but there's a lot of leeway in that definition. And what have you, Rich, and Mayhem learned over the last 15 years by being the best athlete in the world, by training the best athletes in the world, and having a network of gyms and coaches? Because what we should be able to do is build off that foundation and say, well, what are we learning? And now, you know what? We're going to give that to you.
Yeah.
Because
we're going to package it up.
We're going to package it up, and we want to help you deliver that. But if you look back and you can still go back to the archives, the workouts on .com have changed a lot, right? And I think that we have even more work to do, and we can be even better at challenging ourselves at the evolution of fitness. And selfishly, we're all getting a little older.
Yeah.
In the sense of how we approach fitness is a little different as your goals change, but also, if we were to turn back time, what would we do differently with, our in 2010
Warm up,
selves,
rehab,
right, to be better? And and that's what we were trying to implement with the younger generation of athletes now, and as well as just our members walking in the gym. I think that's one of the best or worst kept secrets, because I think that's something we can do a lot better at as a community. I'm excited to share that even more, because that's what CrossFit's built on. It's actually, we're not tied to how we get there. We're tied to the result, whatever that is, right? And that's like business, and the same thing with running a gym to fitness. It's the same concept, but humility and not being tied to this is the way we do it is really hard, because just because it works doesn't mean it is actually optimized.
Right.
100%. Made for a great storyline too, because a different permutation of that quote is, if somebody from Timbuktu or some small town in China shows up and they're dominating all of our athletes, well, we're going to go travel to that place and look. And how perfect was it that the female champion ended up being from Reykjavik, Iceland, and then you've got Little Cookville, Tennessee, this dude who's just dominating, right? It was the perfect, this is it.
I just remember the Tony Budding quotes in there. There was a couple good ones in there.
There's a couple good ones,
and then I think in there, was it 200 deadlifts or 300 deadlifts at like 135 or something like that? I remember we did it right after that. We watched that.
For a games thing?
I don't know if it was a games video, or it may have been like a pre-games Tony and Dave talking about programming.
Okay.
And we did, me and Darren. I remember being so sore posterior, so fried.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and some of the things we would just do because we had no idea what we were doing. We're just like, oh, let's just do more.
Yeah. Always.
Just do more, because
you got to do more.
That's how you get better.
I don't know what I'm trying to say with this question, but I'll spit it out and you can take it in any direction you want, or we can just dump it. But for moving forward, do you care what CrossFit HQ is doing? Does it matter? Not that I'm saying from a competition standpoint or to put that entity down, but from you achieving your goals or bringing to life what you're talking about vision wise. Does that matter? Just because it's such a hot topic right now. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what's HQ going to do? Who's going to buy it? And all those kind of things.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think the short answer is yes, right? I think that CrossFit and the success of CrossFit at the highest level is important. It really is. I remember saying this 5 years ago now. And I remember talking to Rich about this during the tumultuous time of what's going to happen, right? And,
it's still going.
I know, right? And I just remember, I think, I said this to a few people, but this world is a better place with CrossFit. Mm-hmm. This world's a better place with a unified community. We're not good, and danger happens across all parts of society when you're fragmented, when you're disjointed, and there's a bunch of just these small islands everywhere. We just don't do good at humanity that way. And I think that, so simply put, I believe that the ecosystem is changing, but we can absolutely be stronger, and in fact, stronger together. It's a symbiotic relationship, right? And, again, not to get too nerdy, but when you look at like how relationships happen in nature, is like you can be parasitic, right? You can be symbiotic, and what that looks like. No one likes something that kills the other thing to gain for its own gain. Like everyone's like, well, that's parasitic. That's never the leader in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. You're never rooting for that. You're rooting for those that benefit off each other. And sometimes that, and that relationship can sometimes switch. Like who, whether you're that little fish on the whale or the whale little fish, like they're helping each other, and who do you root for? That is up for the viewer to decide, right? But I think that's where, and I'll say this, anyone that wants something to fail needs to ask themselves some questions of why they want something to fail. Like I just never understood that. It's like now everyone can be successful. There's no shortage of human beings and opportunity and all of those things. So I'm not a huge fan of saying, hey, this should fail, unless it's doing harm to people, right? And yeah, CrossFit's great. It's awesome. And you know what? And what we are going to do at Mayhem, what we're doing at Mayhem, why I'm here is to continue that and to keep pushing it forward. And it should be absolutely symbiotic. There's a lot of variables that need to fall into place there, but
I think a lot, we've talked about it, and I don't know if we've talked about it. There's just this whatever. We each have this attachment to that word, right? Yeah, there's a methodology behind it. Yeah, there's the community behind it, but there's something about that, I think Mayhem's a tough one to have that but everybody can rally under that CrossFit name, right? And so there's just that almost unnecessary attachment to it at this point. Like you go to the gyms and go to, we went to CrossFit Shatter, we were in Albany, we went to Fraternity, and man, the community is live and well. And I've talked about it multiple times at, different lengths, and we've been all over the world in the last 6-8 months. We're going all over the world again. And the community is great. It's alive and well. I think people see that HQ, blah, 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 but it's who cares? Keep doing what you're doing, keep impacting, keep changing lives for the better. That's right. That's all we can do. And that's what we're going to continue to do or try to do here at Mayhem.
That's right. And I think to your point of the community is so strong, but the reality is most people you don't hear from, right? Why? Because they're taking care of themselves,
they walk into the gym, they get a workout in, they hang out with their friends in the workout, you've got your gym buddies, and then you walk out. You don't care anything about the message boards, the CrossFit games. You might watch the CrossFit games, but you're not going to comment. No. Do you ever fill out a survey when you get a text about filling out a survey?
If there's an awesome promise attached to it, usually not by email, but buy my dinner at Chili's and they're like, hey, we might get you a free meal if you fill out this 5 minutes.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I've ever filled out a survey.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for a $5 Amazon gift card. If you hey, I'm like, man, $5 on Amazon?
I'm not doing anything else right now.
I mean, that goes a long way. It's I see how many packages my wife buys from Amazon.
What about the text about who you're going to vote for?
Let me tell you, that's always every 4 years, that's a dark time.
Yep.
So there's everything's spam for a 6-month window during that time.
Every 4 years, dude, I'm getting those things now.
Are you really?
It just keeps on coming.
Get off that list.
Yeah, well, I think that was really well put. And I think also sometimes there's confusion between the entity HQ and CrossFit, the methodology. Like you said, you've got these emotional attachments. I love this thing. That's my life. And I met my wife at the gym and all these things, right? And then you equate how do I resolve that with the entity's not doing what I want, or they're not going in a direction that I like, or hey, it's for sale and it's going to get bought. So being able to resolve those in your life. But I couldn't agree more that I think we're all better together, not to be kumbaya about it, but even in my early days of managing an affiliate, it was co-opetition is the best way to explain it, right? But you're right. In the early days, it was hard to find one. By the time I left San Diego County, almost anything that was zoned commercial or that could have been a CrossFit gym was a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
Right. But there was still the vibe of I could reach out, give CJ from Invictus all the credit in the world, because when I was just getting started, I'd ask him for everything. Hey man, can you help me out with like intake docs and waivers and things like that? And he was just like, for sure. You know, hey, let me introduce you to this guy who's a fantastic coach. Like maybe he'd work for your facility.
The abundance mindset, right? And I think that's something that's important. Is the scarcity mindset's a dangerous place to be, but the abundance mindset is that. And I think those, like you mentioned, CJ, and like he's a really good example. He's a stalwart in the community, and someone that many people look up to, rightfully so. And that's because when someone would ask him and many others in the space for help, like, yeah, let's do it, right? And that's what it was always based on, right? And I think that that's something that, and I know, and I've spent a lot of time on this last couple of years, is how do we help those that want and need the help, right? When you talk to a lot of, whether it's owners and coaches, they're looking for that, right? And because the fitness landscape has changed a lot in the last 10 years, really the last 5 years, right? We had this moment where the gym industry was shuttered.
COVID.
It's been, and it made it really, really hard. And I think one of the biggest things that did negatively was it created this mindset that I have to survive at all costs. Rightfully so. But I think that really closed a lot of that, and it stopped that, hey, like, I'm going to help you, you're going to help me type of mindset, because it was survival. You're trying to keep your head above water. And the gym industry was forgotten about by many, sadly. And I think that that's where we have a lot of opportunity to really give that support. And a lot of people in the space are really starting to do some great things and continue to do that. But I think that's I look at as one of our biggest responsibilities. And what's the difference? Like 15 years ago, what was our biggest responsibility? I don't think we knew it then, but it was to just spread and share the word of CrossFit. Right? Like when we did it, we loved it. It crushed us. And we said, hey, everyone we came into that paradigm, when you meet a CrossFitter, they don't shut up about it.
Yep.
It wasn't because we were actually, we were like, no, we just loved it. Wouldn't shut up about it. And we got everyone to do it. That was what our job was. And then at some point, like, I'm going to open up a gym because I want to get more people to do this stuff. It was never like, I'm going to run a business.
Yeah.
I'm going to make money off this. Like, no, I just want to get more people to do CrossFit, and my garage is no longer big enough.
Yep.
And, people are asking to pay me, and I don't know how to handle this, right? And now I think that our responsibility has changed for those of us, OGs and that are gray and crusty, right? Is that the quality.
Gray. What's the crusty thing all about?
We're crusty, like our knees are crusty.
Right? Got it.
My knee is beyond crust.
That's right. And I'm looking at your knees.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Gray for sure.
And, but it's like, I believe that we have a responsibility to not only spread the word of CrossFit, but I think at a different level is anyone that experiences CrossFit, it should be an experience that is the best. When they walk into a gym, when they talk to a coach, it should be something that they never forget positively.
Yep.
And I think that I can say this unequivocally, that's not happening currently. And I don't think anyone does it maliciously or nefariously. It's just that it's really hard to deliver an exceptional product all of the time. And when someone walks in at a random time in the gym, from the minute they interact with you, your website, whatever it might be, it has to be unbelievable, because that's what people expect now. And I look at that as, if someone does that, we should never lose them, because we want and need more people to do this. And that's where I look like how our responsibility has shifted. I think it's a harder problem to solve.
Yeah.
Right? It's easy to get people excited that want to work out. Right? Like, hey, let's work out. I'll smash you in the ground. Awesome. Right? We're chest bump, we're high-fiving. We love pukey. It's great. But it's hard to create an experience where people are afraid, they're nervous, they're scared to work out. And then you're being compared against these people that are providing these like unbelievable sort of like, beautiful hotel type of services where they walk into a gym. Like, you got to be able to show them, hey, this is where you want to be and here's why. It's the third space.
Yep.
It's a place where we're going to take care of you, and our community is going to take care of each other. And yeah, we're going to work hard. Like, CrossFit's still hard. We're going to do hard things, but I will take care of you.
So I'm going to challenge you, just because I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. In the early days, it was the cream rises to the top, right? Everyone's got this level playing field, and those who figured that out or sought information and enhanced themselves, they made that better. So what are can you push somebody in that direction? What kind of, what could you give them? And if they're not doing it for themselves already, and I think a lot of people fall into the trap of, hey, I can market my way out of this. Like, as long as I get enough people through the door, like, that first experience doesn't matter as much, right? Which of course you do need people coming through the door, but I agree with you that the experience is paramount. It's what keeps them. Every single time is what keeps them. It's what you're trying to provide if you're providing a great service. So how do you support those people that again, I think it's generational, not saying we're superior. It was just a hyper focus on that and a lot of great role models at the time. What does that support look like?
Yeah.
It's a really long-winded way to ask that question.
I think the cream that rises to the top, I love it in concept. I think across a long period of time can be somewhat dangerous. And this would be a controversial take, but like, CrossFit is so effective. Implemented shittily and poorly, you're going to get results, right? I mean, think about it. When we all first started, we didn't know what we were doing. We saw unbelievable results. I was an awful coach on day one, and that's also the beauty of it, right? Like, and got better and was able to handle that. But the experience that I delivered 15 years ago was not great. And I think that led to those that were really motivated to get better. And I think that really works for the tip of the spear, right? But that also has to work in other areas, right? And yet, right time and right place. When you're the beneficiary of an unbelievable program, right, and you have all of this notoriety, it's like you can mask some really big holes. So you can rise to the top potentially before you should, right? So, I mean, if you scale too quickly, you get to the top. Now what? Well, I don't have the systems, I don't have the operations to actually support it when I need to fall back, right? Like you fall to the level of the efficacy of your operations, right? But what happens is when you can catapult above those, is it sort of a false summit? So I think I think CrossFit and many affiliates were sort of the negative end of that, right? And it doesn't mean you can't get it, but it's really hard to build a system and operations and to refine once you've already got things, right? From scratch, it's easy.
Yeah.
Right.
Start from the beginning.
And I think that's where, when we think about where we are now, I think that's our biggest hurdle is that it's, if you said, hey, if you were to start a gym tomorrow, I'd be like, I would do a lot of things differently and it'd be like, let's go. Right. Like, but when you think about how you clean these things up, it's very, very different and it's hard. Ego is probably one of the biggest challenges. Even athletically, right? It's the same concept. I believe the best athletes in the world actually are the most humble when it comes to what they have to do to achieve the top. Because if you're willing to learn, to listen, to adapt, you will continually get better. For those that say, this is the way I do it, it's always the way I do it, you're going to see. And I think that what we've never done is taken some of this really core philosophy about fitness and overlaid it into how we actually run our businesses, even our coaching careers, and what that looks like. I think there's many reasons for that, but I think that we can learn a lot, shocking, from the true understanding of results. But you got to sometimes tear down. Sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do when you're not worried, when it's not just your Fran time or how many pull-ups you do, but it's the food that you put on your table, right? You have that, like, I need this. So it makes this problem much harder to solve than maybe I have to slow down a little bit. And maybe that means I don't make it to the games next year because I want to win in 2 years, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's controversial at all, man. It's a fantastic take. And so, a piece of that I'm taking away is effectively like the tools to provide, or like what you're synthesizing from 15 years of experience, the bad first, and then how it was enhanced, not just from yourself, but also you've been exposed to a tremendous amount of people who have run very successful businesses and still do.
A lot of data points, right? That you can take from, and best practices, right?
And expectation, right? I think that's another thing where I think that it's okay to expect more, right? And for the longest time, right, the expectation has been almost, like you said, nothing. Hey, just do what you need to do, versus like, you know what? We're going to expect a little more of you. And I think that relationship's really healthy in all walks of life, including like, hey, like if we're going to work together, I'm going to have this expectation of you. And there's going to be a value exchange. And I think that when you take that for granted, I think you get sort of this notion of you're always unhappy, or it's just a take. Versus no, like we need to deliver, and then you need to deliver. It is not a one-way street. And I don't think we've had that. And I think that's really hard to do with a massive amount of coaches, of owners, but with a smaller group, a group that are the willing, right? You can do some special things, right? And I think you see that at different levels. You can see that where, gyms and owners and coaches, athletes that are willing to invest, right? Oftentimes like, well, what did it take for you to be successful, right? I know, Rich, you get that question all the time. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes people wrongly equate what they just see, right? I won't speak for you, but I used to get the question all the time. And bear with me, like, what's Rich's secret? They would always ask, what's Rich's secret? I traveled the world, right? And I would go to places that had never like been interacting with people from CrossFit. I'll never forget, I was in Russia at a dinner after a seminar, the first level 2 ever in Russia. I was in Siberia, Novosibirsk, okay? The fact that I ended up
didn't even know it existed.
The fact that I literally was in the middle of Russia in Siberia is a baffling thing. But I remember the question is like, I have a question for you. I lean in, like, what is his secret, right? And I'm like, I'm like looking over my shoulder here. I'm like, who? And they're like, and they look at me like, you know who, like, I'm like, and no, because everyone knew that we're close and friends, like, and obviously,
and you did know who,
yeah, and of course I did, but I wanted to like,
elaborate.
I wanted, and then like, Rich, like he says it, and like, and I just funny, I said like, but that is, I think you extrapolate that to like when you see a gym that is doing really, really well, when you see like Mayhem, when you see a coach that has really transcended and done like, well, what is the secret? Well, there really is no secret.
You didn't tell him,
right?
I
didn't tell him. I kept it.
That was the first thing we told him when we poached him. Like, don't ever tell the secret.
Don't ever tell the secret. Specifically outside, United
States.
Tell
no one
America.
about the third testicle. Oh,
that's yours. That's right.
I need.
No, I have yours.
Oh yeah, thanks.
That's it. You haven't taken mine yet.
It would have slowed you down bad.
But and I say that because I think that's where it's like, no, like the expectation,
obsession, whatever. Yep.
That's right. And I think that's and we need to have that same and the humility, the willingness to learn, to challenge, to do these things. I think, and I'm not gonna. You don't need anyone to toot your horn, Rich. But I will say that the one thing that people don't understand about, in my opinion, about Mayhem and about you, Rich, is how maniacally focused you are, and hardworking, but also very smart.
Thanks.
Right, and because most people think you're just athletic. It's like, yeah, he's actually really smart. Look what he's built. And I think that's important because, and you mentioned in the beginning, exercise science. Like, there are these things that you understood about fitness that you needed that base understanding in order to adapt the training. And one of those things was you knew that you need to learn from other people.
And I mean, the one thing I'll say, maybe the smartness was in picking others to help grow this thing. Not because I knew I knew what my barrier was of expert. Like, I'm not going to do it, right? Like, I know I'm singular focused. I know I get one track, but if I can get other people, everybody else sitting in this room, to do their part, then we can do something awesome.
And to that point, but that's humility.
Yeah, there's right. wisdom in that as well.
Right,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
like,
so it's still
but you pull that into like a gym, right? You pull that into like running a business. Like, I can't tell how many gym owners tell me that, this is the way we do it, or I don't need this, or I don't like. It's very, and that's because of the scarcity mindset, right? Yeah. And I think that, and if there's one notion I can impress upon everyone, it's that you having that ability to pull back, to say, I think I need to learn and get some help from this, which also is a risk,
right?
Right.
Sure.
The risk is it might not work. The risk is you're going to have to put something out to get. It's not just, you weren't just expecting handouts. Mm-mm. Right, you were expecting there's going to be a value exchange, whatever that might be.
Has to be.
Absolutely.
We will call this episode Tootin' Rich's Horn.
That's it.
No, man. I mean, and to my detriment at times where I'm like too hands off, right? And I need to check in more. Like I know that, and I get hyper focused on whatever I'm doing. You know, like we just, you know, last 2 years, like I competed in CrossFit for 15, 16 years, right? And so it's hard for me to step away from those, like doing Leadville the last 2 years. I was like hyper focused. Come, you know, April, May, I'm like, business, who cares? Let you guys, you know, do your thing, right? And at times, like everybody on the team does a great job, but if it's we're too compartmentalized, too siloed off, like that's something that we're working on, is like trying to, you know, like I let people just, hey, you go run it how you'd run it. And they do a great job, but then it gets siloed from something else where we need to have communication. And so that's something we are trying to do here. And, you know, that's speaking from my own experience of like, it's a constant headache with us, you know, like we get these things and like, oh yeah, you know what we have to get done, but they, like the media team might not know, and then I might not know. And then you're like, hey, we got to get this done tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't want to do it tomorrow because I'm hyper focused on what I'm doing. And so that's, you know, that's something we are working on and continually working on, is communication and those types of things. So you've got to be able to like, all right, hey, how can we fix this? And
again, like more horn tooting, but to say, since I've been here, well, I've been in Cookeville since 2018, been working for you since late 2019. There's never been a shortage of opportunities. People are throwing stuff at you all the time, asking your opinion, asking for leadership, et cetera, right? And sometimes it's hard to like bake through that noise because you're very clear on your values and goals, but being able to be like, man, this is the highest and best value, kind of like what you're talking about, like where can I make the biggest impact? It's tough for a dude who can make a big impact in a lot of places, right? And an organization that can make an impact in a lot of places. And I think Austin brings a lot of clarity to that too, which has been, you know, it's super refreshing. Because when you're sprinting in the direction that you're like, this is it.
Well, you know, change the world. And I think that Faith Family Fitness Service, like we know, everybody knows that, and we may screw it up from a structure or, you know, certain things, but man, everybody that walks through those doors are trying to make the world a better place through those 4 things, right? And, you know, we're all going to fall short, and that's a whole nother topic and discussion of the faith perspective. Like, that's why we need Jesus. But like, everybody that's in that building is trying to do what they think is best, you know, for impacting people and impacting lives and changing lives. And I think, man, if we keep doing that, we'll figure out some of that other stuff. But if we can optimize that stuff, get in another perspective, and, you know, you being from the outside, but also on the inside, outside, inside, outside, you know, it's, man, I'm excited about what we can do and how we can impact more, right? And to answer what I think with the CrossFit thing, who cares? Like, we're going to continue to do what we do, lean into those things, and, you know, provide for what we're already providing for, and, you know, try to just pursue that.
Yep.
Maniacally.
Yep.
And I think it's like, our focus is to take care of our community and continually add value and listen. And if other groups, people want to link arms, let's do it. Yep. Right? Like that's the thing where, you know, I believe that Mayhem is a leader in the space, and we're just getting started in that sense. So like, listen, if you want to link, let's go, let's ride.
Yep.
But we are not slowing down. In fact, we are speeding up.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's where the impact, the opportunity, that fires me up. And that's what I'm super excited about. You know, we're going to flip some tables, break some bones. We're going to have a blast.
Breaking bones. Hockey.
Buddy. I very rudely interrupted you guys earlier when we were just getting to the good meat and potatoes of like memory lane.
We messed up our flow.
Loved that. Hugely informative, pretty heavy. So I wonder if you know, you would entertain me with regale me with stories again. But
I think our first interaction was on the floor when we tied.
Oh,
tied. I stole the only.
You talking about Malio's event win?
Yep.
No, he won, man. He won.
Yeah,
we tied.
Give it to him.
We tied.
Competed.
You want to set the story?
Yeah.
Set the scene.
Set the scene of my only event win that this guy had to tie me on. So this is 2010, Home Depot Center at the time.
Correct.
In Carson, and we're in the tennis stadium, where, just to be clear, most people remember pictures of the tennis stadium full.
Empty.
This was empty.
7 people.
With our friends and family, and then someone that snuck in. I mean, half the stands we used for events that year.
Oh,
literally.
we did.
Like
we went head to head on that event too.
We did. There's a great picture of us running
cool
up.
Picture,
It's a legendary picture. But the workout was, 7 deadlifts at like 315 on like one side of the, so you do those deadlifts, then you sprint across and you do,
was it 14 pistols?
It was like 14 pistols and like 21 double unders, roughly. And then you'd sprint back and you did that for like 7 rounds or something, right? And there's me wearing full white compression.
Dude, the white knight.
The white knight. Like Under Armour short, basketball shorts down to my kneecaps.
Yep.
Blue velvet dew winds. Okay.
I had the white ones.
Yeah. And, you know, like a buzz cut, you know, and like tape all over my hands because like what they're just destroyed. And I just look ridiculous. And then there's Richard, you know, and like, I think he had your
white 2-pood shorts.
That's right.
Red stripe down the side, headband. Black t-shirt headband. Oh my gosh.
That's
the
right.
The video is on YouTube. It's the full the women are going through it now.
Yeah, you got to like scroll through it like back
you
in the
scrub it a little bit.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see what the event was.
Oh, okay, man. And
Miko Salo back to try and defend his title.
Yep.
Graham Holmberg's introduced. Rich Froning's introduced.
Graham's deadlifting in the shade. It's
like Ben Smith was there and he's like 11 years old.
That's right.
It was 7.
In his 5th CrossFit Games.
Chris Spieler is like, you know, weighing 115 pounds, deadlifting like quadruple body weight.
Yep.
Yep.
It was 7 minutes.
Okay.
7 deadlifts, 315, sprint across, 14 pistols, 21 double unders, sprint back. But this is back in the day, like double unders were I didn't even bring a jump rope.
I didn't either.
And they didn't supply them.
One of, if not the only AMRAPs in the games ever.
Oh,
ever.
Yep.
That's a good point. That's right.
Like that was a tough one.
And I borrowed Mike G's because I'd met Mike G. He had no idea who I was at this seminar. And then I met him at regionals that year. And kind of hit it off, like big brother type deal. Like he was a good dude to me. He like kind of took me under his wing, him and Brandon Phillips. And I just remember walking up to Mike G. I'm like, I don't have a jump rope. He's like, he was in an earlier. He's like, borrow mine. And I think I actually never gave that back to him. It was a Buddy Lee.
That's what I had.
Oh, it had a metal wire on it versus the plastic or rubber.
You should send Mike G.
I do need to
send him a rogue jump rope.
That's right. Yeah.
My rogue jump rope.
Yeah, send him the Froning rogue jump rope.
Nice upgrade. Oh yeah. I mean, I had a Buddy Lee. I only had the plastic one, you know, so I didn't have like the Primo one.
No, this was plastic, but he had retrofitted it with a metal.
Oh, custom.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I remember tripping up every round on double unders. There was not one round where I did unbroken 21 double unders.
No, I don't even remember.
Like I just remember I was like, oh man, double unders are in this workout.
Screwed.
Like I'm toast. Like, you know, we had our Olympic lifting shoes on because we were doing pistols. Mm-hmm. You know, I
just put them on because everybody else put them on.
Yeah.
I mean, just blue velvet duins. Like, just like at what point it was like these are what I should be wearing.
That's what I need.
I was just heinous,
but it probably at the time you were thinking quite the opposite. You were like, I look fly,
and they're like they were like suede. They're like so like these feel so cool.
You show up on the video.
Oh man!
Even back then, you were super savvy if you knew the weightlifting shoes existed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're like,
that's true.
I mean, you couldn't do a pistol without weightlifting shoes at that point in time.
No,
like unless you had Gumby ankles. And
not happening.
Yeah, so that was my only event win, and it just so happened where Rich tied me. So, you know, yes, competed for 9 years after that and never got a win. And so my win is...
You had a couple regional event wins, right?
Yes, yeah.
Did you have any world records?
Yeah.
You remember those terms that was
I had a world record. If it had a deadlift in it...
Was it Diane? Or no, was it the deadlift box jump?
Deadlift box jump, yeah.
So
dude,
you were so right.
I won a couple open workouts globally and a couple world records.
I think you could still probably beat most athletes at a pure deadlift centric workout. I would put my money on it.
Have you ever been like anatomically studied, like your arm length versus your body?
I think, you know, someone told me it's called the ape index.
Ape index.
And I'm legitimately 8 inches shorter than my wingspan. And you're supposed to be the same. And Jesse Burdick, if you guys, you know, power lifter, I remember he every time I see him, he gets mad. He's like, why aren't you powerlifting? He gets mad at me every time.
Yeah.
He just like, you know, sizes me up and he's like, you are anatomically disfigured to only deadlift.
You're made for this, bro.
Made for this. I mean, yeah. So if there was a deadlift in it, I had good fortune.
Oh, there you are.
Oh God.
Oh, the white knight and the blue Dewins.
I remember this because, you know, they would come up with the workouts and some of us at HQ would test them. And I remember like 315 for, what was that, 21:15.9?
Look at him.
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at those pistols. Oh, just belabored. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's so good.
Full. I mean, and not to cut you off, but the why white, right? People should. So I will. There was an actual
science.
There was a scientific reason.
Just like
behind,
I used to wear the fight necklace.
That's right. There's a
for
science.
balance.
There's science behind this. So first off, I was like, I'm going to do everything I can to try to win. And like that year, compression was huge. So I'm like, wait, all these athletes wearing compression, got to wear compression.
Man, I do look way cooler than you. Sorry.
I was not cool. I mean, listen, it's to this day,
bro.
Yeah, but like everyone, like,
yeah, you had it.
Yeah, you were cool. People liked the headband. You wore sunglasses. It was bullshit. You know, and so then and they're like, well, we have black. I'm like, I can't wear black. We're going to LA. I was like, all right, well, I have white. And even like the name of them were like ice. I was like, cool. I'll be like, it'll cool me. I didn't think through the fact that I'd look like a stormtrooper. Like it didn't, for some reason, process. So I showed up and I wore the marshmallow outfit. So like, I just was like, this is for science. I never did I think I was supposed to look cool. So next to like Rich, you know, looks like, you know,
it propelled you to an event tie, bro.
Event tie.
All right.
The compression. That's it.
I mean, give credit where credit's due.
That's
There's
right.
a picture
Science for the win
of me, Spiel, and Chan running across the floor. I forgot too. Sorry, I'm now reminiscing. I was wearing calf sleeves.
Yeah.
What was it? It was before. I can't remember if it was before regionals. It was before regionals. I was doing a workout, some tire flips, and jumping to a cinder block wall at the loading dock. And I actually saw the picture the other day, raked my shins. Ugh. I mean, from like here to here, like so much so that there was hair and skin on the wall.
Yeah.
And it gave me shin splints so bad that like I was still messed up at the games time. And so I was wearing those shins. Man, oh gosh. And you know what was also I still think one of the worst workouts I've ever done at the games, pyramid double Helen. And then into the one max
shoulder overhead.
I had shoulder to overhead 315 plus whatever, which in training the week.
That would have won it.
I could only shoulder to overhead 245. I got like fourth on that workout.
Yeah.
And then bombed the shoulder to overhead. Poor soul.
Well, remember, like a lot of talk about safety issues nowadays. But when you watch that, and you watch people bringing it back
everywhere.
When you watch people bringing it back down.
So first off, this is bullshit as well. All of the racks were at one height. Okay. And for those that you're unaware, I'm vertically challenged. So being 5'5", and they were like, someone was like, hey, like, do you think you'll be able? No, they was like, nope, all one height.
Man, we've got to do some videos of watching these 100%. And us talking.
That's a great idea.
And I couldn't re-rack the bar because I was so exhausted. And I dropped it and didn't think, I can't clean this weight. It was such a dumpster fire. I think I only had like 2 attempts because I had to literally do a 1 rep max clean, tippy toe it onto the rack. Like it was insane.
And there were the racks that were independent racks that were like
they were trees.
They were trying to kill you, right?
They were trees. Yeah. And I was like, all I'm trying to do is push jerk more than the girls. That's literally what's going through my mind the whole time. Please let me do that. Like, because they were like, some girls put up some serious weight. I couldn't put the weight on, put the clips on. I was
drunk. I remember trying to it was like a radar lock on a video game of like trying to find, I'm like, there's the center.
That's right.
Because I had went so hard.
And it was hot.
Hot. And that workout was terrible. I remember walking over to the stadium and seeing Khalipa doing it, and he looked like the rhino off of Jumanji. That's just like...
He was struggle bus.
Oh my gosh, that
and
workout.
The kettlebell standard was like, it was like your knuckles and the bottom of the kettlebell had to like be pointing to like,
Before we realized kettlebell is a great training exercise.
Awful competition.
Horrible competition, like the push-up that we later did in that
Our
event.
hands were Swiss cheese after that.
Yep.
Because you had to basically manipulate the bell to like, so it was like a sundial. Like if the angle of the kettlebell was off a little bit and you could see a shadow, you were repped.
Yep.
Not to mention the strict handstand push-ups in the rings that some judges could have cared less, and you get, I won't say who, that I'm literally like as far as locked out as I can, like arms locked, and she's like, your head is not in and I'm like, I can't get there. Dude.
We were swinging around. There were a couple events you look back like, that was 2010.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing ring handstand push-ups, and we did it too. Like, you
weasel up and weasel down, and
and you would look at that video and like you'd see one poor soul swinging like Cirque du Soleil, like you're like, oh man,
poor bastard. And they'd get a rep back here, they'd get a rep up here.
It was like literally like, oh man, that poor bastard.
Yeah, I think Big Tall Spencer was one of them.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and then hand release push-ups
all over the wall when we burned our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
That was a highlight for you.
The highlight for me. Yeah, I smashed that workout. And then the complete rest of it.
Yeah.
I still don't, to this day, don't know actually what that middle workout was.
It was overhead squats.
No, I know what that workout was. The shoulder to over or ground to overhead and toes to bar. I still have.
I forget it. I don't remember it.
Like I remember almost every workout, and that workout is a loss, like a black hole to me.
Yeah.
I don't even care to learn it, you know?
I know.
Gosh.
It ended poorly.
Like we have a picture of me jumping over the wall in that final, the burpee over the wall. And recently, Haley, my daughter, she's just about 7. She looks at it and she goes, "What are you doing?" Like disgusted with how I looked. There was nothing left. I was like, it was a low time. It was a low time.
I don't want to talk about it.
Just like she was like,
go to your room.
What is
that? Like
she was one of my lowest times ever.
Any imagery from that workout, it's like, oh God.
Gosh, man, that messed me up for a while. It being new, first event ever being there, them putting 18 of us in a room.
Yeah, we were sequestered for like 2-3 hours.
2-3 hours. And you don't know anybody yet. Like I didn't know these guys. And so you're just like, no phone.
Yep.
No nothing in this room. And you're hearing like,
you'd hear like the cheers of the crowd. Yeah.
Full gladiator.
Dude, as lame as it sounds, it messed me up for a couple, like I was mentally like messed up from it for a couple.
It was a small room. Like what people don't realize is that we were the final heat of the whole games.
People disappear and they don't come back.
They never came back. There was a moment where you're like, are people getting killed?
You're like, are there going to be lions and tigers out here?
And there was, no joke, one barbell in the middle of the room for the entire group to warm up on. Just one bar with a couple weight, and then there's
You don't have a coach? You don't have a friend? I didn't know any of these guys.
We're just sitting there, and like...
People disappear, and they don't come back.
And then it gets to the final heat, and...
We all take our shirts off, and Dave goes, put your
on.
shirts back on. It's pretty effing hot out there. And you're just like,
okay,
what's about to happen?
Yeah.
A fire? Is there fire out there?
It was baffling, and we didn't know each other, so like there were moments where it was just silent, like dead silent, and
people disappeared
and never came back. And then the first thing they say is, "Keep your shirt on."
Yep.
And you hear,
and it took forever,
like several times,
because there were 5 heats, and this was probably took 30 minutes per heat.
For sure, you had 7 minutes, a quick little relay, 7 minutes, quick little relay, 7 minutes.
We're in there for
12 minutes.
So we're in there for like 2 hours
or more. We didn't know anyone.
As a fan, loved every second of it.
Yeah. The second time they did
Castro's
that to
briefing
us,
got better and better and better, because the first athletes, to their credit, his briefing was just sort of like,
that was his. I didn't know what to do until I saw this man drop down and do a push-up.
And I remember this. So my judge, Eva Clareson-Kelsey, EC, she literally, he says it, and she's like, no, go. I get down. She's like, no, over here. I'm like, why? Because the ground's 400 degrees.
Everybody goes to
so everyone like moved to the shade.
Yeah.
We're like moving around in the top of a push-up.
And my dumbass goes out hot.
Oh yeah.
And that's not my MO. Like I'm the pacer guy.
It may be my favorite Rich Froning moment though.
And I'm the only one that finished the workout.
Yeah.
The only soul.
Oh, and I was so mad because you and like Chan knew how to like flip over the top.
Be an athlete, bro.
I'm not an athlete, okay? Farthest thing from, just a meathead. And I'm like climbing over the thing, like all awkward. And I'm seeing these guys like, dude, like the upside down flip looks so cool. And like, I look like an idiot, and I was like, man, they're cool.
You didn't look as dumb as I did falling off that rope though.
Well, then I was like, well, I can climb rope.
I could too, but
with my feet.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, we're going to have to do us
Athletes
sitting there
react.
talking, man, it'd be so good just to talk through the whole event.
Gosh.
Man, those were the days.
Okay, so pick out one more, like favorite all-time games event as an athlete for you.
Oof. Man.
Or bright spots.
So I'll give one that I think one of the coolest events. I did not do great in it, but in retrospect, it's the coolest I think that I had the opportunity to do, was the Pendleton Triathlon.
Oh gosh. You talk about unsafe.
Exactly. There are so many things. It is a story that no one would believe happened. One, the briefing.
This is a live ordinance. Don't step on it. They could be out there.
Hey, you're going to swim past the shelf. there are things beneath you that you can't see. Don't think about it.
Just know they could own you.
Got it. And we swam, there was like, it was wild. And
you had fins?
Never used fins in my life before.
Nope. Spiel lost a fin, lost his wedding ring. Yep. We all tried to help him find it.
It's exactly. Yeah. And then
what?
We get back and it's everyone's together. And then Lucas, what's his name?
Hogberg?
No.
Parker.
Yeah. Butt naked. Butt naked in the transitions. No one knew what a transition was. No one
nobody's done a triathlon.
So
nobody even went to that tent other than Lucas.
Well, he was naked.
Yeah.
Literally naked. And it was just like,
were we all wearing those yellow compression?
Yes. Yeah. He was.
No swim jammers.
No, nothing. Just compression.
I had the nose goggles.
That's
I think
right. Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah. We had
Navy SEAL looking goggles.
We literally had like snorkeling goggles on because we're like, we didn't have. It was amazing. Then we had these single speed bikes. And so
Ben Smith got his stole. You had your name on it?
Someone took his bike. I remember getting on the bike and there's like, all right, you're going to go off the road onto sand. You turn onto sand. What happens is if you go full speed into soft sand, you go flipping over. You would turn. I had to get off my bike because there was a pile up.
Pile of people.
And the only reason why I didn't flip is because all the people ahead of me flipped off their bike.
If people haven't seen, you got to
700 was like a 750 meter swim. Something. Now I could do it fine. Yeah. Then
There's
business.
Two of those bikes here too. If you want to go down memory lane.
I remember just flipping on flippers on my back, just like staring at the sky.
I was so afraid. So people, because I'm not a good swimmer, never have been, never will be. The only thing that motivated me was I was like, if I'm last, something's gonna kill me. I was like, I don't want to be first. But that wasn't a problem. Last might have been a problem. So just stay in the middle. Stay in the middle. I was like, and I was like blacked out. Just touch for like other humans. That's all I cared about.
This just sparks a memory. Hold on. Gosh. Well, what's so good about this too is the swim is whatever, long, decently
700
long.
meters.
It's a long swim, especially at that time.
We had never swam.
The bike was like 3 miles.
Not even, dude. I was so mad that the bike was over.
It was over. And it was a single speed. You can't do anything on a single speed.
I was driving. I was like,
we get to the hill. Me and Austin got to the hill at the same time. And so we sprint up it, and that's the first event, right? And then there's an 11K run. This thing was so heavily, and there's no run. And I remember, so we're like, there's a group of us, and we're like, all right, let's interval this thing. And we're going to run for 30, walk for 30. That's right. And then we get about 5 minutes in, I'm like, and they just keep intervaling it. And I just walked the entire hill. And then the bodies, as you're running, people are cramping left and right.
You remember Spiel?
Spiel, full body cramps.
So we didn't know till the end, but I remember, and I'm running, and I passed Spiel. And at this time, Spiel's a legend. I'm like, Spiel's the best runner in the field. I'm like, I'm fucking awesome. I'm so fast. I'm like literally, I remember like.
It's like the Office 5K episode.
Literally like, I'm fucking the best, right? Little did I realize that he was literally dying.
Full body
cramps, couldn't move. Nope. I'm the fastest. Had nothing to do with my speed.
I'm so fast.
I'm so fast. And then I see someone like running backwards down the hill. I'm like, I'm going to try this. Almost fell backwards because they're like toenails were falling off. Save your quads. Like, because there's a lot of downhill. All right, not doing that anymore. Like literally almost like roll backwards. Oh God. And then you get to the bottom, and the next event was the obstacle course. And there's this one guy from Europe, I forget his name, and he kind of had this like heat panic attack thing.
There's several. Numi Ketchen-Arsen.
That's right.
It was on the triathlon. It wasn't at the obstacle course.
Yeah, but he had like this. It was like
he started like coming in and like screaming.
Yeah, I'll never. It was like I was like, oh my God, what is? Like I was like really afraid.
Homie, I was there like trying to take notes and whatnot because we're supposed to put together media, and then he starts charging the wrong way on the course again.
Yeah, like he lost his mind.
He had lost it.
Like he
was gone. Homie was gone.
Yeah, 100%. Like there's no one there to make a decision. I'm like, I'm gonna go try and stop him, I guess, and we turn him around, settle him down.
This was the time before like Garmin watches and stuff. So they'd have random Marines out there just guiding you. They'd be like, hey, the last hill right here. You come around the corner. You weren't even close.
They would mess with us. They purposely, that's what they do, right? They're like, almost there. We're 2 clicks in. No one knew what a kilometer was unless they were from, like, we had no idea what was happening.
And still out there with how much terrain gain and loss and whatever. I just remember at some point, down the hills, I'd be like, take me gravity, you know, just gone. I ended up finishing like 10th or something in that event. No business finishing 10th. I just paced that whole first half. I remember catching Dan, and he's just every once in a while going,
Not much has changed.
Just spit.
I'm like, you all right, Dan? He's like, my calves. And he's just like,
Right.
I'm like, hey, Dan. Because, you know, he's a way better runner.
Yeah.
I watched a video somebody posted the other day, and it's like from that event. And I'm watching myself run. And at that time, I'm still sprinter mentality. So my legs are kicking everywhere. Instead of just like one foot in front of the other, I'm like, you jackass. You know, like at that point. Gosh, man, that event, that was it.
Knew we melted down, made it to the hospital and back before the obstacle course.
That's right.
Against medical orders.
Reckless abandon.
Reckless.
Gosh, it was.
And if I'm not mistaken, there was another event slated, which was the broad jump. It was supposed to happen, and they were like, we're going to do this later because everyone's dead.
And then instead,
I think it was rain. It was a rain delay.
No, we put it, they were going to do it outside.
They went under.
And we did it under, but it was still soaking wet. The floor was soaking wet.
We just literally did broad jumps next to the TV vans.
Right.
Like
in the tunnel.
And it was honestly like a
field day.
It was like a youth class. Yeah. There was like 5 lines of 10 athletes.
It was like the presidential fitness test at school. You're like, all right.
And next jump. 5 athletes step up and jump. It was just jump.
Was that one of the skills tests that years? We did 3 skills tests, or was it a full 100 point?
It was not part of that. You know, where we had all those those 50-point events with the snatch, weighted pull up, L sit, farmer's walk, handstand walk. Yeah.
Man, good old days.
Got to be able to broad jump, bro. Yeah, well, from our perspective,
today, my shin would just keep going.
Yeah, my feet would stay on the ground and my knees would just shear off.
Yeah.
Well, 30 minutes before Pendleton, we decided, hey, no media coverage. Like, well, post-production is no big deal. 30 minutes before, they're like, hey, here's what we're going to do.
Helicopter.
We're going to put you guys out on the course, and we're going to do a conference call. And if you guys see athletes, just speak up. We're going to do a radio show. And it turned into the biggest shit show that's ever happened. And I burned a couple people that year just because it was like a text message on the side. Somebody wasn't muted. And the whole time I'm like, shut the fuck up, you know? And 30 minutes after the event, they're like, hey, we're actually going to put this video together and show it at the athlete dinner tonight. And they're like, you got to voice it over. And I was like, cool, no problem. Well, we literally had like a 15-minute window to voice, or however long the video was going to be. So we voiced it on the way to the thing, one single take. They're like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go, just start talking. And, you know.
I don't remember it being a bad video.
No, it was great. Yeah. It might still be alive. Yeah.
I still remember the only reason I beat Neil Maddox is because he fell down. I ended up getting like 4th or something. Yeah, he was way ahead of me.
Yeah.
And risk reward, man. Just
the O-course is cool.
Last hurdle, he tried to hurdle it and snipered, and I just walked my way on. And they're like, who was it? Ben Hollingshouse? Was that his name?
Yeah.
He was like, hey, how'd you win? I was like, he fell down. You know, like that was it.
Spencer won that event. And
dude, it was like night and day. It was definitely height was a great advantage on that course.
But to this day though, like watching like the athletes go through that course is I think one of the coolest events to watch.
Agreed.
Right? Because I mean, watching me was embarrassing, but watching someone like you guys, like Spencer, like, cause you just kind of, things were just in the way.
Yep.
Right? That was and it was a race, linear, so many cool things that like, it was kind of ahead of its time almost, like in the sense of how an event was set up. It was cool. And it was also round robin, right? So like, it was like a true tournament.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Tournament. That's Northeastern of you.
Oh, sorry.
Tournament.
Oh, sorry.
All right, your turn.
Ooh, favorite event. I mean, man, there's so many good memories. Individual wise, the last one, because I knew it was over. I think the one we were talking about, the first sandbag move iteration, where like the Home Depot like wheelbarrows come out, you know, and that was just a cool event. I think Amanda for me, my first games moment, being able to be an athlete, but then also like finish early enough that I went up and watched Kalipa, Chan, all those guys in Kalipa just fall apart on that workout. But like that was my last fan experience, I guess. Like I got to be on the floor, which was awesome, have a good time. I think I was like 3rd or 4th in that event, but then go up and be able to sit and watch some of the dudes that I had seen on video go through it. And
probably one of the last times you were able to sit in the stands peacefully.
Yeah. I remember those were the years where I would like finish and I'd go sit up next to that elevator shaft and just catch some wind through there and then sit there and talk to people.
I know. I remember that. I remember that place.
Yeah.
It was right there.
It was perfect. The wind would come through right there.
You could sneak down into the athlete area really quick.
Yep.
Man. The wheelbarrow event is so great because, you have Matt Chan's wheelbarrow disintegrating.
Does his disintegrate?
I think
Brandon Phillips.
Matt Chan gave him his wheelbarrow.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
After he finished, he went and took him his wheelbarrow.
Literally, I was like, hey, I'm done. You can use mine. And it was literally like the ones you get at Home Depot.
Yeah. No, they were legit.
You guys
put them
built
together,
them.
right?
They were constructed by like me, Miranda, and Pat.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, Brandon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. But man.
Got to roll low to that thing,
Yeah, I mean, pick the wrong one, bro.
And we were running.
Never trust Matt Chan.
Has Matt Chan
ever come clean with you guys about like his tactics in the water? Like take Pendleton, for example. Because he was a water polo player.
Messing with people?
Oh, bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once I got better at swimming, I would do a little bit of the same. You get behind somebody and just start like tickling their toes or like, what I learned in the water is you have to be the aggressor.
Yeah.
Like you can't go in there timid, like be the shark. And that's what I've always told our athletes is like, you got to be the shark. Because if you're not, you're the minnow, right? You just swim. And if you feel somebody, just know that, hey, I had Chandler Smith when we were at Wadapalooza grab my shorts and he said he was panicking a little bit and like started to pull down. And in the water, it felt like somebody was trying to drown me.
Yeah.
And so I swung as hard as I could. And I felt connection with my elbow and just kept swimming. And then later on was telling the story and they're like, I think it was Chandler. So me and Chandler had like, hey, sorry, man. Like, but it's survival of the fittest out there. You
do have to learn that like, cause I'm not a good swimmer. I remember I just learned quickly that can't be the aggressor in the water. It's survival. But I just like, I'm going to get punched and kicked in the face.
Yeah.
And you just got to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was my biggest learn of like, okay, I'm not going to drown from this. It's just going to hurt. Cause your first reaction is, am I drowning or does this really hurt? Or am I mad now? None of it matters. You just have to keep moving. You just have to keep moving. Yeah. I mean, we would swim around that pier in California. Gosh. Oh God.
Great white out there.
And the shark that was under there, the shark that was just waiting.
Yeah.
And
chilling.
And Mayor, my wife tells that story because our wives were on the pier.
Was that 14?
Maybe. And there's a picture of it. It's out there. She's like, yeah, watching you swim, seeing the shark. She's like, I don't know if I want you to be doing this anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, we didn't know.
Oh.
The broadcast helicopter sat on it for a while and just kind of watched it. That was when it was a little bit up from the pier. But just even that proximity makes me extremely uncomfortable,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss,
Ignorance is bliss.
That's right.
Man, those are the golden days.
Yeah, man. Well,
gosh.
Even still, that's ballsy. Like we've done a couple triathlons and I'm not ashamed when there's 3, 2, 1, whomp, and I'm just kind of let everybody go. And I'm like, oh, just chill over here.
Not me, dog. I like to be in that chaos.
I don't like it.
I like it. I kind of like, now I'm like, yeah.
You're like a strong swimmer though.
I've gotten better at swimming for sure.
We went on a road trip. So we're going to BCS next week. The first or second time when did we take the RV? We took the big motorhome.
We took it, yeah.
And we stopped at,
one of the first times.
We stopped at Brian's friend's house and we stayed the night. Remember that?
Arthur.
And
was it Arthur's?
No, it wasn't Arthur's. It was halfway. It was some random house on a river.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Whatever river that was. It was a raging river with like, freight boats coming down it and stuff. And Rich is like, all right, let's go for a swim. I'm like, cool. Me and Brian literally stayed, like I could stand up at any point in time just doing laps. And this fool swims out to a buoy in the middle of this freaking river.
Yeah, not the brightest.
No.
But fearless.
Hey.
Stupid, fearless, same thing.
There's a line there. Sometimes it's blurry.
Yeah. Found it. Step over it.
Once in a while.
Man, we got to make those videos happen where we go back and just reminisce now that Austin's here.
Yep.
Be fun.
Richard Bryan, the guy you guys did for the Meat Eater podcast, he started those Operators React videos. So they'll watch an old movie with like some actual Navy SEAls and be like, yelling frag grenades, never do that. But that would be funny, like a similar format where you guys just
so good, just us sitting here watching it, and then they superimpose it.
Yep.
We could do that. It'd be fun.
It'd be fun. That would be awesome. Yep, we got to do that.
Done.
Sweet, Austin. Glad to have you here.
Fired up. Appreciate it.
The future is bright.
Right.
A lot of big things coming. And again, straight up in service of community. And you got a big old brain, man, and a lot of respect, a lot of love over the years, and really, really, really stoked that you're part of this.
It's an honor to be here.